Good morning, loves. Hello, my friends. How are you? Happy Tuesday. Today I want to talk a little bit about my morning, what I did, and how I'm moving forward in the day. So if you clicked on this, thank you. And maybe you can relate to waking up and having the morning go kind of sideways. So what happened was, well, there's life. Life is lifing. You know, it is. Life is lifing. It's going on. And a couple things. Yesterday, I went to go see my body worker. I see a body worker, and she had not been practicing for several years. I saw her, I don't know, I want to say maybe 4 years ago, and she was amazing. And I haven't found anybody else like her. I've tried to find other people. She's super gifted. So I went to see her just for this one spot, and no surprise, there's other stuff going on because I do have, there's body stuff, and I'll talk about that, I'm sure, in the future, you know, but body stuff, yeah. So I saw my body worker yesterday. She's amazing. I love her. She is awesome. If you're looking for someone and you are in the, you know, southern New Jersey area, let me know. I can connect you. She's amazing. Yesterday was a really tough session, and it was about having parts of my body talk to each other. We'll just leave it at that. But it brought up things that I already knew that needed attention. But it's always fun when you have an audience with someone else. So she's facilitating the communication. And this morning when I got up, I was like, wow, I need to give this the attention it deserves, but I don't feel like I can put one more thing on my plate. Because then last night, I got a phone call about my mother, and I will make videos because I think it's important, because I think a lot of us have this. I don't have any, my mother is the only biological family member that's still in my life. The two sides of my family are very different, but both very toxic in different ways. My mother's side and my father's side. But I got a phone call about my mother, and I have been walking around this tree for a long time. There's a lot of boundaries in place. There are things I don't do anymore. There are places I don't go with her, and I am basically at this point a loving witness. She doesn't probably have too many more years on the earth, and I have worked out other things with her higher self, which is something I'll talk about in a future video, because I find that sometimes you can't work things out on this plane, and you want resolution. You want to be able to find out what is the most loving thing I can do here. And growing up in toxic homes, whatever they are, I'll talk about them in another video. I talk about that for a long time. You get your perception of relationships can be skewed. It can be screwed too. I started to say screwed. It can be screwed. It can be screwed and skewed. But so I actually called my husband, who was out, and asked him to come home last night early, which I almost never do. But I also know that at least part of my journey is learning how to ask for help, and I've been good about that. I think I've made great strides. You know, asking for help, giving support, receiving support. Source says, yeah, I've been doing great. It's more of finding those people who you can do it with. But I was upset just because things in our lives don't go the way they want you to do. You want them to. It's just a sad situation. At a higher level, yes, My mother is getting exactly what she needs. Her soul is getting exactly what she needs. And I am actually really excited because when she does transition, then she's going to know how awesome it is. And I'm like, but right now, she's suffering and there's nothing I can do about it. So, but I was sad about it because, you know, you don't like to see anybody suffer. You don't like to see people that you care about suffer. And whatever has happened in the past, you know, I don't wish anybody well. And she is someone who's in my life. And I want her to be, you know, happy and empowered. And she's neither of those. So this morning when I got up, got my son ready for school, took him to school, and was like, all right, get to the gym, let's get back in the routine. And I realized that, like, I had this list of I have to do this and this and this and this, and I was like feeling completely overwhelmed. I was like, oh my gosh, why am I so feeling like I have to control everything this morning? So after I got home from the gym, I had a conversation with my ego was completely overwhelmed. I had a conversation with my ego, and there's a couple different ways that I do that. And I can share methods in a future video, but for right now, it's just about me sitting on my bed in tears, like sobbing, because it ends up that my ego was very upset and does not want to do this body work that needs to get done. This, like what came up yesterday, just feels insurmountable. It does not feel like something's going to be easy. You know, even when I walk through all of those, wait a minute, I am all that is. There is nothing larger than me. Well, when I'm on my ego is like this teeny tiny thing. The ego's like, I cannot do all these things. Like, so after I sat down and talked it out with my ego, basically reassuring my ego. So I do what Bashar talks about, which I have found to be super helpful, because I've done parts work for years, but what Bashar teaches honestly goes a lot faster, which is negotiating with your ego, not making your ego the enemy, not telling your ego that it has to be a certain way. So I talk to my ego because I love my ego. I love my physical mind, personality structure. I love my personality. I love being, you know, the illusion of being separate and having like a little like avatar to run around in and do stuff, you know. So I'm like, listen, you do not have to do all of these things, okay? And I'll tell you right now, I do not have the solution for this bodywork thing, because you're right. Picking up one more thing to do right now does not sound like fun at all. We do have to address it, but I told my ego, you don't have to do it. It's not your job. So if you want to find out how Bashar negotiates with the ego, you can people have posted stuff, or, you know, he sells his own stuff. It's bashar.org. But I found that to be really helpful. And then I have my own twists that I put on that, and there's other things I do. But this morning I was just basically talking to it, and my ego really wanted a whole bunch of things. My ego wanted to not have to do all of this stuff, but my ego was upset because nobody else is doing it. You know, things like getting hay for the bunnies and just regular, like, running a household type things. And part of that is because my husband just changed jobs and started a new job. So I have not been asking him for a lot because he has been starting a new job, and a lot goes along with that. So he's been a little bit sensitive, he's been a little bit anxious, and he's been a little bit touchy, and I've just been giving him space and supporting him, because we all know what that's like. You're trying to find your feet when you start a new job, not jumping all over him. I'm like, that's okay, we can talk later. But so my ego is kind of freaking out about this, because now, you know, it thinks it has to fix the bodywork issue. It thinks that it can't do anything about my mother, which it can't. We're not going to go back in. We're not doing those old behaviors from years and years ago. There's really, we can be a loving witness and provide support if needed. That's all we can do here. And my ego really just wanted to know that it didn't have to do those things, and that it was supported. And my ego just wanted to know that I needed it, which I totally do. I need my ego. I need my ego. I need my personality structure. I need my physical mind. It is not bad. It is not evil. You just need to know what it needs. So after a lot of crying and then starting to get a headache, and going through my process, my ego is now, it's quiet. And what I told my ego about the body work is that I don't know what the solution is either, because it does feel pretty big. But I know that the cosmos is 51% benevolent. So all I have to do is ask for a solution and it'll come, and I have to relax. If I don't know what to do, I don't go chasing an answer. I relax, I take care of myself. I do, like what we talked about, I was in 12-step rooms for over a decade. We do the next right thing. You know, when you don't know what to do, we do the next right thing. And the next right thing for now is getting up, eating breakfast, going to work, making the video, because I asked Source, like, do I need to make the video? Source is like, you need to talk about the challenges that come up and, just putting things out there, because it's true. I don't have the solution, but I know it's going to come. So we'll see what comes in the next couple days. Every time I do this, it always works. And it just is so subtle. It just kind of like weaves its way in. Really, that was not, there we go. Weaves. It weaves its way in. So I'm just going to be expectantly curious and see what comes, because I used to like hammer at stuff and be like, I am going to like drive this into the ground, solve this problem, until Source showed me, and other benevolent beings, it doesn't have to be hard. Like it doesn't have to be hard. You have to be willing. And so this morning when I did my writing, I was like, I'm not willing yet. And I'm going to be honest, but I'm willing to be willing. And I know that if I'm willing to be willing, Source will help me open my heart the rest of the way to get that, to, have that experience. So, and then I focus on gratitude. Talk to my body. Thank you. Thank you, legs, that got me here. Thank you that I can breathe. Thank you that I have a spine to sit up straight. Thank you that I can talk. Thank you that I have hair. Thank you that I have fingers. Thank you that they all work. Like, thank you that I am in such a prime position to make my body and my life even stronger and healthier. Like, there's nothing wrong right now. Nothing is going wrong. Everything is exactly the way it's supposed to be, and I just have to walk through it, play it out, play my role, and find out what the universe has for me. I hope you're having a good morning. I hope that was helpful. If you want to hear more about the processes, let me know. I think I'm like the process queen. I have so many processes. That's why I never shared anything, because as soon as I would do one to manage emotions or something, I just do another one. I swear I have over 3 dozen. Anyways, I love you. Have a wonderful day, my friend. Stay shiny.